Yep.
And whenever you're ready.
All right. All right, welcome inside the Virtual Media Center here at the A&A Inspiration. Just a reminder for everyone in the chat, if you have a question for Brooke, make sure to utilize the chat function to let me know, and I'll call on you when we open it up for questions. But until then, Brooke, wonderful to have you here with us. How are you feeling?
I'm doing really well, thanks.
I know you just told us that you just told me that you just finished your practice round here. Just take us through what it's like here at the A&A Inspiration so far.
When you first arrive here, it's just a different atmosphere, and it's just incredible. To see Poppy's Pond, see Dinah's statue, the Wall of Champions. It's just an incredible feeling, and the golf course is in amazing shape, and I'm really excited, especially coming off a great finish just like 6 months ago at this golf course. I'm really looking forward to getting back out there and hopefully starting off where I left off.
You're also coming off a T10 performance, I believe, at the Kia Classic. What was working so well with your game in the week leading up to this?
I was really happy to get the top 10 finish. That course has never really been that great to me, so that was definitely a confidence builder to get the top 10 there. I just feel like my game is in a really good spot right now, which is really nice, and I feel like Britt and I have been working hard on a few things, and it's nice to see it paying off.
What are some of the things that you've been focused on, maybe improving a little bit more heading into major championship season?
Always just working on consistency and just trying to get a little bit better every day. For me, especially, working on my short game has always been a big thing. And, I've been working with my putting, and I feel like last week I had, a few days or a few holes where I was putting really, really well, which, again, is just a big confidence booster, and, hopefully can keep it going.
Are you working on more of the consistency with putting, or?
It's always not been a letdown, but, some weeks where I don't play as well, it's definitely usually the cause. So, just working on a few things, especially on like 10 feet and in, just being a little bit more, I guess, just trusting in myself and trusting our reads.
You've had some spectacular finishes here. You finished T2. Disappointing with the playoff, of course, but what did you learn about yourself? You are a major champion. You've been in contention at major championships before, but having such a great finish just 6 months ago, what do you ever think back on how you can improve that this week?
It's just the best feeling to be in contention on a major championship on Sunday afternoon, playing against the best in the world on great golf courses, and, just to have that feeling of adrenaline and that rush of energy coming down the stretch is always great. So, hopefully I can start off Thursday with a great round and put myself in contention on the weekend. And I definitely think having won a major championship, it makes the nerves a little bit better, but they're always going to be there, and, you just want the opportunity, and that's all I'm looking for.
We've got some differences this year, especially with it being the 50th anniversary, going back to the Island Green. Were you able to play that in your practice round today, and what were some of your thoughts there?
It's cool, especially, this is how it started out, so to go back to that is pretty neat. Definitely makes the hole a little bit different. You can't necessarily just go for it as soon as you have 3 wood in your hand. You kind of have to think about it a little bit more, and it's definitely a little bit more risk and reward. So I'm excited, and, I think if I can get hybrid in my hand or 7 wood, then I'll definitely be going for it.
A lot of people we've had in have said that this is probably one of the best times they've ever seen this golf course. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It's in amazing condition. The greens are really nice. They're a little bit firm right now, but hopefully they'll soften up a little bit. But, just overall, it's really great. So the course staff really deserve a round of applause.
With that, I'll open it up to some questions behind me. I'll start with, Steve.
Okay. Brooke, you always play well on tough golf courses. What is it about playing difficult major championship golf courses that appeals to your game?
Well, thank you. I don't know. I think maybe just the challenge of it, and sometimes I think when the courses maybe get shorter and easier, I don't focus as much. Sometimes when courses are tougher and tighter, I seem to narrow in the focus and my tee shot lines a little bit more, which I think is important. And, I'm just really excited to be playing in major championships and having the opportunity to be in those final groups, and, having the opportunity to possibly win is really cool and really exciting, and I'm just trying to, make the most of it.
And you mentioned your putting. You putted really well over the weekend, particularly on some greens. Your Poana's a little suspect anyway. So, and your speed looks really good. So,
Thanks.
is the confidence coming back? Where are you with that?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's coming back, which is great. And anytime that I've won or I finished near the top, my putting always really helps me out, and I putt really well. It's just kind of those weeks where I'm struggling a little bit and things aren't going my way, then I kind of lose confidence, and usually the first thing to go is the putting. So just trying to work on that a little bit. But I'm definitely coming off, like you said, last weekend I was putting a lot better, which was nice, and so hopefully I can just keep going this week.
And I know you talked about the playoffs, and they're always a little bit of a crapshoot. But are you confident coming back in this week? And do you feel like you got something to prove, given what happened in September?
Definitely a little disappointed on how I finished last year, for sure. But Miriam played great and was a great champion. I just wish I would have maybe performed a little bit better in that playoff, but I played great on that Sunday afternoon. So I think, for me, it just gives me maybe a little bit of inspiration and maybe a little bit of momentum coming into this week.
And I will turn it to the ladies.
Hi. How receptive are you finding the 18th green when you're going for it in two?
It's pretty firm. So through wood, I think, is definitely out. I think if I can hit like a high 7 wood maybe into the wind, it'll hold, and hybrid will hold for sure.
What do you hit those clubs? How far is the distance on 7 and hybrid?
7 wood just over 200.
And would you be opposed or would want them to water them a little bit more?
I think, the course is in great condition. I think generally the course is playing a little bit firm. All the greens are a little bit firm, so hopefully they can soften them up a little bit.
Brooke, what's continued to motivate you to keep working on making these changes and things with your putting? What is it that keeps you going?
I'm just always trying to get a little bit better. I'm really happy, my world ranking's in a good spot, and I feel like I've had a really successful 7 years on tour, which is really exciting. And I'm just, always just trying to get a little bit better, trying to, get more wins, trying to move my ranking up. I think a big thing too is I'm just trying to embrace it a little bit more, and enjoy this journey and this process. I think sometimes you can get too focused on like the end result, but just really trying to enjoy and improve and make small steps all the time.
How would you describe your game over this last year?
I felt like last year, I was just really grateful to be back out playing when I finally decided to rejoin the tour in August. And I only played 10 events, which is really not very many for me. But I was able to get 6 top 10 finishes and be in contention a few times. And, this year, starting out, I guess I have 2 top 10s. Not really been in too much of contention yet, but I feel like my game's really close. And hopefully over the next few weeks, I can put myself back in there.
All right. I'll hand it off to Adam Stanley. Adam, if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Hey, Brooke.
Hey, Adam.
Can you hear me? How do you, obviously major championship, obviously every event on the LPGA Tour schedule is important for different reasons, but how do you get yourself into sort of the mental position that you need to be in, knowing that this is a major, the golf course is going to be a little bit more difficult, there's going to be a little bit more stuff happening during a major championship week. How do you get yourself into that position to know, hey, I got to elevate myself because this is a major?
There's definitely a lot more pressure on major championship weeks. And that the golf course is going to demand everything you have, physically and mentally. And I think, just making sure you get the proper amount of practice and the proper amount of rest, early on in the week is really key, especially this week. It's so hot out here. I think, just making sure that you don't overdo it these first few days. But, I'm like I said, I'm just really excited to be here and have the opportunity to compete. And hopefully, I can just get off to a fast start on Thursday and things will go my way.
Well, I'm jealous that it's warm there, but it's pretty much golf season here. Obviously, so many Canadians are starting to pay more attention to not only playing golf, but an event like this. For you to not have any fans, again, in a major situation like this, has that been tough for you to kind of play without those crowds cheering you on?
Yeah, for sure. I really miss the crowds and the fans, especially, here in the desert. There's always a lot of Canadians, and the Brick Brigade, there's usually a lot of them following. So you definitely miss their energy. and just their general excitement out here. But at the same time, when you tee it up on Thursday, you're just trying to be the best that you can. And maybe Britt will act more excited when I make a birdie and replace some of the fans.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brooke. Good luck this week.
Thanks, Adam.
All right. Thank you, Adam. Douglas, I know you had a couple questions. If you'd like to unmute yourself.
Yep, thank you very much. Hi, Brooke.
Hi.
You mentioned coming back. There was a question earlier about coming back to A&A and maybe a little bit of feeling that there might have been some unfinished business given how things unfolded for you last time. Do you carry that with you, or do you mentally start over and just say, this is another major and I'm going to prepare like I do most majors and just focus on what you need to do?
I think it's really important to take away the positives from that week because I played really well, and there was a lot of good things that happened. And unfortunately, I didn't lift the trophy, but I was tied for the lead when we finished 72 holes. So that's a lot of confidence, and that's a great feeling. And this year it is a different golf course. Last year it played a lot differently than it does normally, just because of the time of year that it was played. But I'm hoping to take some of the things I learned last year and all the things I've learned since I started playing this event in 2014 as an amateur, and hopefully I can use all that knowledge and just perform well.
Great. There was no Australian segment this year, so how would you assess where you and your game are right now? I know you mentioned that you're feeling pretty good about it, but is this kind of where you wanted your game to be coming into the A&A?
Yeah, I think so. I played really well at Diamond Resorts early on, and then there was a little bit of a break there before the two Florida events where I didn't really see the results that I felt like maybe I deserved, but they were still, I made the cut and was playing the weekend and making some things happen. And then, last week in Carlsbad, California, I've never really played well there. So to get the top 10 is definitely, a boost, and, hopefully I can keep it going.
You mentioned, now I apologize, I had to step away for 30 seconds, so you may have covered this, and I apologize profusely if you did. But you mentioned working on your putting. Who are you working with, and what are some of the things you're specifically working on? Is it involving some changes to your stroke, pace, grip, anything like that?
Yeah, so my dad's my coach. He's back in Canada, so, just kind of virtually, and he's working a lot on, the mental side of it, which I think is probably the most important part. And then my sister, who caddies for me, but she also helps me out a lot with the coaching aspect, too, when she's out here with me. And just with putting, we've been working together on different techniques and different styles of having to read it, and just finding a balance of what works really well for both of us, and just kind of narrowing that in every week. And I've actually switched to left-hand low from inside 10 feet, which I put into play last week, and it seemed to work out really nicely, and that was a big change for me. But I feel really comfortable with it, and I think I'll keep it going.
Last question. You mentioned wanting to get off or needing to get off to a fast start on Thursday. What do you need to have happen to have that fast start?
Out here it's really important to hit fairways. I also think that if you can hit it long off the tee, you definitely have an advantage. But just with how long the rough is, most importantly, you have to hit the fairways. And then going into the greens with approach shots, you have to play smart. There's a lot of different slopes, and there's definitely easier places to putt from for every pin location. So that's where, Britt and my dad both come in, and we try to plan it out and get a good strategy together. And hopefully once we get that strategy, then I can follow it.
Awesome. Thank you and good luck.
Thanks.
All right. Amy?
Just one quick follow-up. You talked about trying to get your confidence back a little bit. Is there a specific event or moment that you think back to that you felt like you were really confident that you're trying to kind of get back to?
I feel like generally I'm a pretty confident player. I think maybe just the last few weeks I've definitely lost a little bit, but there's been times where I felt really great and been playing really well. Just other times, which is golf, right? It's just so up and down, and especially mentally it's so demanding. So, just trying to believe in myself a little bit more, trust in the process and what we're doing, and just trying to enjoy it.
Are there things that your dad or your sister then have worked with you on that you say to yourself, or you think about, certain thoughts that help that when, it comes into question when you're on the course?
Yeah, I think just to just trust in what we're doing. You know, it's been successful for a really long time, and you know, sometimes you see great results and sometimes not as good as you would like, but you know, you're always just trying to improve every single day, trying to get a little bit better. And I think, you know, belief and trust is probably the two number one things.
When was the last time your dad was out at a tournament with you?
January 2020.
Wow, and how difficult has that been for you?
You know, he's always there, like virtually, always helping us out and sending us his notes that he has on every course, and you know, FaceTiming and everything. So it's been okay. Definitely miss having my mom and him out here, just as support and you know, helping out on the course. But you know, Britt's really stepped up, and she's been huge support for me.
Thank you.
Well, big shout out to Britt there. Just to wrap things up here, Douglas, I believe you have a follow-up if you'd like to unmute yourself. Oh.
Thanks. Just a little bit of a light question. How are you finding life as a sister-in-law being now that Britt's married?
It's really great. I love Zach, and he's a great addition to the family, and it's pretty cool because he works with the LPGA, so he's able to travel to quite a few events that we're at too, which makes it really fun.
Thanks, Brooke.
He typed that question there, so I laughed a little bit. But with that, this is the 50th anniversary. What does it mean to you to be a part of the 50th edition of this tournament here? And what are some of the memories that you think back of, whether you playing or you watching this tournament, that you like to reflect on sometimes?
Yeah, this tournament is so special, and I think it's 50 years old. It is really neat, and to be a part of it for the last few years is really cool to me. You know, growing up, this is the tournament, you know, as a little girl that you dream of playing in and watching, and, you know, hopefully winning sometime. You know, for the men, it's the green jacket. For us, it's the jump into Poppy's Pond. So it's just great to be a part of, and it's just special to be out here, and hopefully one day I'll be able to make that jump.
All right. Well, thank you, Brooke, for joining us, and thank you, everybody on the call. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cool. Thank you.